not to bother them again. After that, he turned around and left with his son. The woman was heartbroken looking at their backs. The next day, the woman found the man again with a bag of money. She told the man that she had a heavy bleeding after giving birth 7 years ago and lost her fertility forever. So she wanted to take back the custody of her son and take him to live abroad. But the man insisted. He absolutely opposed it. He said that although he was very poor, he would never sell his son for money because his son had become an inseparable part of his life in the past 5 years. But the woman still refused to give up. She said that she would let her son stay with her for one day. If his son could not adapt to her life, she would never bother the father and son again. Thinking that the woman was his son's biological mother after all, he agreed to his ex-wife's request. The next day, the boy followed the woman to the playground. It was his first time to play with these things, which made him very happy. When the boy returned home in the evening, he happily showed his father the gifts his mother bought for him, especially the new computer. He said that he would finally not have to borrow his classmates' computers to go to class anymore. Seeing his son's happy look, the man finally understood his son's past. How bitter it is. However, the story is not over yet. Because he has been in arrears of rent for 3 months, the landlord brought people to beat him up and told him to get out if he couldn't pay the rent. When the boy came back from school, he found that the house was in a mess. He knew that it must be the landlord who beat them again. Looking at his beloved son, he kept thinking about his ex-wife's words. He couldn't give his son a good life. He even had no place to live now. He made up his mind and grabbed his son's hand. He told him that the woman was his mother and asked his son to live with his mother in the future. But the son firmly said that he only wanted to be with his father. He thought that his father was angry because he accepted his mother's gift and wanted to drive him away. So he threw all the things his mother gave him on the ground, including his favorite computer. But the more his son behaved like this, the more guilty the man felt. In order to let his son live a better life, he would rather his son resent him. He picked up the school bag and threw it to his son. Then he drove him out the door. Watching his son leave with the school bag on his back, the man squatted on the ground and cried bitterly. Then the ex-wife called the man to tell him that his son had arrived at her place. At this time, the son heard his father's voice and ran over immediately. But in order to let his son live a better life, the man still scolded his son cruelly. When the man hung up the phone, the boy began to break down and cry. Soon it was the day they were going abroad, but he could never forget his father. When his mother wasn't paying attention, he kept running to his father's house. But when he ran home, all he saw was an empty house.